letting go without losing yourself. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? For many of us, the idea of letting go is terrifying. We associate it with giving up, with defeat, with losing a part of who we are. Our relationships, our ambitions, our memories, our very identities. These are the things we hold on to, the anchors that we believe keep us steady in the turbulent waters of life. We think, if I let go of this, what will be left of me? We fear that in the empty space that follows, we will find nothing but a void, a hollowed-out version of ourselves. But what if this fear is based on a misunderstanding? What if letting go isn't about erasure, but about expansion? What if it's not about losing yourself, but about finding a deeper, more authentic self that was buried beneath the weight of everything you were clinging to? This is the profound invitation of Buddhist philosophy. It doesn't ask you to become a ghost, floating through life without passion or connection. Instead, it offers a path to a different kind of holding on, one that is light, free, and deeply rooted in the present moment. It teaches us how to release the suffocating grip of attachment, so we can finally learn to hold life with an open hand, gracefully, lovingly, and without the fear of loss. Buddhism begins with a fundamental truth, one that we all experience every single day. Everything is impermanent. The sun rises and sets, the seasons change, our bodies age. Thoughts and emotions flow through our minds like clouds in the sky. Nothing, absolutely nothing, stays the same. We know this intellectually, of course, but emotionally we resist it with all our might. This resistance is the source of our suffering. The Buddha called this clinging or upadana. We cling to pleasant experiences, desperately trying to make them last forever. We cling to our youth, our health, our relationships, fearing the day they will inevitably change or end. We cling to our ideas of who we are, our fixed identities, and become rigid and fragile. It's like trying to hold water in a tightly clenched fist. The harder we squeeze, the more it slips through our fingers. This struggle, this constant battle against the natural flow of life, is exhausting. It fills us with anxiety, disappointment, and a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction. The suffering comes not from the change itself, but from our attachment to things staying the same. Imagine you are holding a beautiful, perfect flower. You admire its color, its fragrance, its delicate petals, but you know that in a few days it will begin to wilt. If you are attached to the flower remaining perfect forever, you will feel immense sadness and frustration as it inevitably fades. You might even resent the flower for changing, but if you can appreciate the flower for its beauty in this very moment, knowing and accepting its transient nature, you can experience pure joy without the shadow of future sorrow. You can love it fully, precisely because you are not clinging to an impossible ideal. This is the essence of letting go in the Buddhist sense. It's not about not loving the flower. It's about loving it without demanding that it defy its own nature. It's about shifting our perspective from a desperate grasp to a gentle, appreciative presence. So, how do we begin to practice this? The first step is mindfulness, the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. When we are lost in our thoughts, we are usually clinging to something, ruminating over a past mistake, or anxiously planning a future that may never happen. Mindfulness brings us back to the here and now. It invites us to simply observe our thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise and pass away. When a painful memory surfaces, instead of pushing it away or getting swept up in its drama, we can just acknowledge it. There is sadness. We notice how it feels in our body. We watch it with curiosity and compassion, like a scientist observing a natural phenomenon. We don't have to become the sadness. We don't have to build a story around it. We can simply let it be, and in doing so we discover that it too is impermanent. It rises, crests, and eventually it dissolves. By practicing this, we begin to see that we are not our thoughts or our emotions. We are the spacious awareness in which they appear. This creates a crucial separation, a space between our true self and the ever-changing contents of our mind. This leads to a profound re-evaluation of what we call self. We tend to think of ourselves as a solid, continuous entity, a CEO, a mother, an artist, a warrior. We build our identity from our memories, our roles, our possessions, and our beliefs. Buddhism challenges this idea with the concept of anatta, or no self. This doesn't mean you don't exist. It means that the fixed, separate, independent self you think you are is an illusion. You're not a static noun, you are a dynamic verb. You are a constantly changing process, a flowing river of physical sensations, feelings, perceptions, thoughts, and consciousness. There is no permanent you hiding behind these experiences. The you of 5 years ago is different from the you of today, and the you of this moment will be different in the next. When we cling to a fixed identity, we are clinging to a ghost. We become afraid of anything that threatens this constructed self: criticism, failure, change. Letting go of this rigid self-concept is incredibly liberating. It doesn't mean you lose yourself. It means you are no longer limited by a narrow and fragile definition of yourself. You become free to grow, to change, to adapt, to be whatever the moment calls for. You are no longer a brittle statue, but a flowing river, capable of navigating any terrain. But what about our relationships? This is often the hardest part. How can we let go without losing the people we love? This is where the Buddhist concept of loving kindness, or metta, comes in. True love, in the Buddhist view, is not based on attachment and possession. Possessive love says, "I love you, so you must make me happy. You must stay with me. You must not change." This is not love. It is a contract based on fear. It's a form of clinging that ultimately suffocates both people. Loving kindness, on the other hand, is a wish for the well-being of another, freely and unconditionally. It says, "I wish for you to be happy, peaceful, and free from suffering." This love does not depend on the other person's actions or on them staying the same. It is a radiant warmth that flows from your heart without strings attached. You can love someone deeply, cherish their presence, and still accept that they are an impermanent, ever-changing being just like you. You can wish them well even if they leave your life. Letting go in a relationship doesn't mean cutting someone off or becoming indifferent. It means releasing the need to control them, to own them, to make them responsible for your happiness. It means loving them with an open heart and an open hand, allowing them the freedom to be who they are, and allowing life to unfold as it will. This is a braver, deeper, and more sustainable form of love. Ultimately, letting go is an act of profound trust. It is trust in the flow of life. It is trust that you are resilient enough to handle whatever comes your way. It is trust that by releasing your tight grip, you are not falling into a void, but opening yourself up to a vastness you never knew existed. When you let go of the need for certainty, you open yourself to wonder. When you let go of past grievances, you create space for forgiveness and peace. When you let go of who you think you should be, you give yourself the freedom to discover who you truly are moment by moment. You don't lose yourself. You lose the heavy armor that was weighing you down. You lose the anxieties, the rigid expectations, and the fear-based narratives. What you find underneath is not an empty space, but a spacious one. You find a core of peaceful awareness that is unshakable. You find a heart that is capable of loving more freely and deeply. You find a self that is not a fixed object to be protected, but a dynamic, resilient, and boundless process, intricately connected to the whole dance of life. Letting go is not the end of you. It is the beginning of a more authentic, courageous, and joyful way of being you. It is the discovery that your true nature was never in the things you were holding, but in the gentle, aware, and loving hands that have the strength to finally let them go.